Have you ever had one of those moments where life just feels a little unreal? Kind of like you're in a dream. Well, today we're diving into a philosophy from Shufang that takes that feeling and runs with it, all the way to a pretty radical conclusion. The idea that our entire life is, in fact, an illusion.
I mean, really stop and think about that for a second. What if every single person you've ever met, every memory you hold dear, every single challenge you've overcome, what if all of it was just happening inside a super vivid, lifelong dream? Yeah, that's the rabbit hole we're going down today.
Okay, so before we get carried away, we have to get on the same page. We need to understand what Shuifeng actually means when he says illusion. We're not talking about magic tricks or optical illusions here. He has a very specific and honestly kind of surprising definition.
So, according to this philosophy, an illusion isn't something that's fake. It's simply anything at all that has a beginning, a middle, and a definite end. Think about that for a moment. If it pops into existence, hangs around for a while, and then vanishes for good, it's an illusion.
And you know, when you think about it like that, this definition starts to apply to a lot of things. A soap bubble, right? It's totally real for a moment, it's beautiful, it shimmers, but then pop. It's gone, forever. A movie world can feel completely real while you're watching it, but the second those credits roll, that world just disappears. These are all what he calls tangible illusions. They exist, and then they don't.
So, if soap bubbles and movies are illusions, what else fits the bill? Well, this is where things get really interesting, because the philosophy takes this exact same logic and applies it to the biggest phenomenon we know, our own lives.
The author wants us to imagine something. Picture a dream that lasts for a full 100 years. Inside that dream, you're born, you grow up, you fall in love, you experience loss. It would feel completely and totally real, wouldn't it? But is it?
And his logic here is, well, it's pretty powerful. It doesn't matter how long the dream lasts. It could be 8 hours, it could be 100 years. The moment you wake up, that entire world, everything in it, just ceases to exist. So by his own definition, it was an illusion the whole time.
And here it is. This is the big leap that's at the heart of this whole philosophy. If a 100-year dream is an illusion just because it ends, and our human life of, roughly the same length also ends, then logically, what's the difference? Our life, by this very same definition, has to be an illusion too.
Okay, let's just pause there. If we even entertain this idea for a minute, what are the consequences? I mean, if life is just an illusion, what does that mean for all our anxieties, our goals, and our desperate need to feel like we're in control?
You know, we all feel like the main character in our own story, don't we? But this quote is such a reality check. Seriously, how many of us know the names of our great-great-grandparents? They were the center of their own universes too. This feeling that our importance is permanent, the author says, is a total illusion.
And what about control?
Man, we love to believe that if we just work hard enough, plan enough, we can steer our lives wherever we want. But Shufang says that's like trying to control a dream while you're having it. In a dream, stuff just happens to you. He suggests life is no different. We're all just actors playing our parts in a story that's already been written.
This brings us to some really challenging questions. Think about it. When you wake up from a scary nightmare, you don't stay sad all day about what happened because you know it wasn't real. So the author asks, if life is also a kind of dream, why do we let its ups and downs cause us so much real, genuine sadness and anxiety?
So if we're not supposed to worry or get anxious, then what exactly are we supposed to do? This might sound like a recipe for just giving up, but the philosophy actually presents it as a path to total freedom. It's a guide to living a joyful life, even inside the dream. The advice that follows is, honestly, a radical way to rethink your life. The focus shifts away from struggle and achievement and lands squarely on the present moment. The guidance is just so simple. Chase what brings you joy. Don't do things that feel wrong in your gut. If something's fun, go all in. If it's not, just walk away. And for those things you absolutely have to do, just get them done. Don't waste your energy on them. The big takeaway here is just to let go of worry. If life is like a movie script that's already finished, then worrying about the next scene is completely pointless, right? It's going to happen no matter how much you stress about it. The only sane thing to do is to fully enjoy the scene you're in, right here, right now. And finally, this philosophy leaves us with a choice. It says we can experience this illusion of life in one of two ways, either like someone who's totally lost in the dream or like someone who has woken up to what's really going on. So on one side, you have the sleeping person.
And hey, that's most of us, most of the time. We get tossed around by worry, anxiety, fear, completely convinced that all the drama is real. But on the other side, you have the awakened person. They see the illusion for what it is. They still live life, but they don't get swept away by it. They can stay pleasant, relaxed, and calm because they know that this too will pass.
So if being awakened sounds so great, why isn't everybody just doing it? Well, the author's answer is pretty blunt. We're stubborn. We're just too attached to the dream. We want our struggles to matter. We want our successes to be permanent. We cling to the illusion because letting it go feels like letting go of everything we know. And that, he says, is the hardest part of waking up. And that brings us to the end, with this one last question, turning the whole idea back on you. If you accept, even just as a thought experiment, that this life is a beautiful, temporary, fleeting dream, well, that doesn't change the fact that you still have to live it. The only thing that changes is how you see it. So the question is, how will you choose to dream?